Madison Square Garden was already vibrating before the first punch was thrown, the kind of charged electricity that only a true crossroads fight can summon. This was not just another title bout tucked into a busy boxing calendar. This was a clash of identities, philosophies, and futures. 12 rounds scheduled for the Super Lightweight Championship of the world, governed by New York rules, watched by a sold-out crowd in the Garden and millions more around the globe. Everything about the moment felt ceremonial, from the officials taking their places to the quiet intensity inside the ring. Two fighters in their physical prime stood opposite one another, both 28 years old, both champions in their own way, both convinced the night would belong to them. Shakur Stevenson entered as the challenger, but nothing about his presence felt secondary. Undefeated, decorated, and already a three-division world champion,
Super Lightweight Championship of the world! Here we go!
stood Teofimo Lopez, the reigning champion, a Brooklyn native fighting in the mecca of boxing, surrounded by familiar noise and hometown expectations. On paper, this was a meeting of equals. Two elite technicians with Olympic pedigrees and championship resumes. In reality, it would become a test of whether raw athletic aggression could crack one of the most refined defensive minds in modern boxing. From the opening bell, the central question revealed itself almost immediately. How does Teofimo Lopez break through Shakur Stevenson's defense? It was not a mystery invented for broadcast drama. It was the genuine tactical riddle of the fight. Lopez had struggled before against fighters who specialized in movement, timing, and counters. Stevenson represented that challenge at its most advanced setting. Right away, Stevenson met Lopez in the center of the ring, signaling that this would not be a retreat-and-run performance. He stood his ground, measured distance with his jab, and dared the champion to close the gap. What followed in the early rounds was a lesson in control. Stevenson's jab began dictating everything, not just landing cleanly but freezing Lopez in place. Each time Lopez attempted to step in, he was met with sharp, economical counters that punished even the smallest mistake. Stevenson's brilliance on the back foot was obvious, but even more striking was his confidence moving forward. He was not content to simply evade danger. He was pushing Lopez backward, subtly but decisively flipping the expected roles of champion and challenger. Lopez tried to answer with pressure and bodywork, circling the guard, looking for openings around the ribs and liver. But Stevenson's timing was merciless. The moment Lopez overcommit, the counters came, clean and precise, never wild, never wasted. Stevenson did not throw punches to impress the crowd. He threw them to make statements about space, rhythm, and consequence. Each landed jab reinforced the same message. You cannot rush this fight. You cannot bully this ring. As the rounds stacked up, the numbers began telling a story that the eye already understood. Stevenson was landing at will, especially with the jab, while Lopez struggled to string together meaningful combinations. Even when Lopez found moments to land, they came at a cost, often answered immediately by Stevenson's quicker hands. The crowd noise ebbed and flowed, but the fight itself remained stubbornly consistent. It was being contested entirely on Stevenson's terms. What made the performance so striking was not just Stevenson's defense, but the way he layered offense into it. He was not dancing away or circling endlessly. He stood in range, slipped punches by inches, and returned fire with surgical precision. His left hand found its mark repeatedly, sometimes upstairs, sometimes down to the body, always reminding Lopez that every gamble would be punished. This was not avoidance. This was dominance through discipline. By the middle rounds, Lopez's frustration was visible. The confidence that usually fuels his offense began to erode as each plan failed to gain traction. He tried increasing volume, then slowing the pace. He tried targeting the body more aggressively, but even those attempts opened him up to counters. Stevenson's reflexes were simply too sharp, his balance too perfect. He never fell off position. He never reached. He never chased what was not there. Stevenson, meanwhile, looked increasingly comfortable, even playful at times, smiling as he stepped inside Lopez's range and beat him to the punch again and again. The fight had become a master class in ring generalship. Stevenson dictated where exchanges happened, when they happened, and how long they lasted. Lopez was reduced to reacting, always a half step behind, always guessing, never able to fully commit without paying a price. As the championship rounds approached, there was a brief flicker of hope for Lopez when he found some success digging to the body, finally giving the crowd something to cheer. But even that momentum proved fragile. Stevenson adjusted almost instantly, tightening his counters, reasserting the jab, and reclaiming control with quiet authority. The moment passed, and the pattern returned. Stevenson touching, checking, frustrating, and slowly dismantling the champion's confidence. Blood began to mark Lopez's face, a visible reminder of the cumulative effect of Stevenson's accuracy. Nothing came from reckless exchanges. Everything came from repetition and precision. Jab after jab, counter after counter, Stevenson painted the fight the way he wanted it to look. Lopez continued to search for a single defining moment, a punch that could change the narrative, but Stevenson never gave him the opening. Defense, in this case, did more than protect. It erased possibilities. By the final rounds, the outcome felt inevitable. The garden, once roaring, had grown quiet, the way crowds do when excellence leaves little room for debate. Stevenson never chased a stoppage. He never abandoned the intelligence that brought him this far. He boxed, he countered, and he controlled until the final bell, completing one of the most one-sided championship performances seen at this level in recent memory. When the scorecards were read, the numbers reflected what everyone had witnessed. A wide unanimous decision. A new champion. Shakur Stevenson had not just won a title in a fourth division. He had announced himself as a generational technician, a fighter capable of neutralizing elite opposition without relying on chaos or brute force. In the heart of New York, against a proud champion in his own backyard, Stevenson delivered a performance defined by composure, intelligence, and ruthless efficiency. If you enjoyed this deep breakdown of one of boxing's most technical masterclasses, let me know what you think. Did Shakur Stevenson deliver one of the most dominant championship performances of the modern era? And where does this win place him among today's elite pound-for-pound fighters? Do you want to see him stay at super lightweight or chase legacy fights in another division? Drop your thoughts below, and if you want more long-form, documentary-style boxing stories like this, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next breakdown.